programme before I pass over to Alison. We've got a fantastic talk by Tom Mason. He's a fantastic wildlife photographer. The title of this particular presentation is Island Life. I think it will be absolutely brilliant. So please try and tune in for that. And don't these competitions come around quickly, because we've got hand in for round 2 next week. So make sure you've got that jotted down somewhere and have a look through your photos if you haven't already. And in fact, if you look at the programme there, it's pretty much every 2 or 3 weeks, it's another hand in. So, you know, just to keep an eye on that. On the 13th of October, we've got round 2 of the PDI with David Steele judging. 20th of October, that is my birthday actually, and my girls are going to drag me off for a meal, and I'm gutted. I won't tell them that, but I was really looking forward to that presentation. So I hope that's going to be recorded, because I'll be very sad if I miss that talk by James Kerwin. I love abandoned architecture. I love all that urban stuff. Some friends that I go doing a bit of photography with won't go into these abandoned buildings with me. They drag me back, and I don't understand why. You know, it's I just think it's so exciting. But hey, then we got a workshop evening the following week, and so oh, there we go. Yeah, there's one. I'm in there. And then we've got PDI. We've got a critique evening. A few people have asked, and we've got another brilliant speaker, Chris Palmer, on the prints and the paper, a landscape photographer. So we've got so much good stuff going on. And the 3rd of November and the 24th of November are rounds 3 and 4 of the PDIs. I was having a chat by email with some of the other committee members earlier. And I know a lot of you are keen to know what's happening with the exhibition. It has been judged, we have got the results, and the thinking at the moment is that Mark will put together a presentation with all the results for our Christmas social. I know that seems a long way off, but you know, it will give Mark a chance to put everything together. It will give Janet a chance to sort the certificates out. We have got the trophies. I think we've got all the trophies. So there's engraving to do. You know, we don't want to rush it. We want it all to look really good. You know, you've put in a lot of work, so we want to make it a pucker presentation. Now, some of you, those that have been awarded print awards, will be contacted for a PDI on those photos. But you won't be told what you've got. So although you'll know which photos to send through to Mark by PDI, you won't know how you've done in that particular. Oh, can I just say also congratulations to Colin Bristol. What a fantastic red squirrel photo of the month. It was absolutely superb. I don't know if you've all seen it. I don't know if we can even put it up there, can we, Matthew?
It's on the website, so it's on there.
I've got an echo there.
Yeah.
Yeah, superb. So if you get a chance, have a look on the website. Absolutely stunning. So well done, Colin, on that one.
Thank you.
I think that's it from me. So I'm going to hand over to Alison now. Have a lovely evening, everyone, and good luck.
Thanks, Di.
Right, I'll just share the screen now. Hopefully I've shared the right one, because there was 2 showing exactly the same thing. But yeah, okay, right. Welcome, Alison, again. We have the beginners. We're going to start with. We've got 30 entries, and I'm going to give a run through for everyone else. I don't know if you had a chance to look at the images, Alison, but just so that everyone else knows.
Oh yes, I did.
Right. Alison has been given the set of images just to make sure that we don't have, if we do have any issues, we can still carry on. And I have a backup way of running this as well this time for this season. Yeah. So
I can always
yeah. So everything should be fine. So we'll have a quick run through, and then we'll hand over to Alison for the critique and judging. Off we go. Okay, so there we go. So we'll make a start with our first image, silver swans.
Okay, can everyone hear me okay? If you can you just give me a thumbs up? Because I can see you all. Fabulous. Okay, my microphone's working, which is good. Right, so lots of swans together here, and what struck me first with this is each swan doing something slightly different. So we've got different neck positions as such. We have one preening, we have a couple having a drink, there's some wallowing around in the mud. They're all doing something slightly different. And then to add to that, you've got a couple of which look like black-headed gulls in the background in their winter plumage, just walking around looking for food as they do. I like the two boats behind as well. It just gives you that sense of, oh, this is a harbour, the tide's gone out. Very much, I suppose we could call it a seaside scene. So it's been beautifully cropped, and I do like the position of the birds and the boats and everything else. I do find the image quite bright, and you've got harsh lighting. It's not the easiest thing to deal with. And I think even though it's bright, you have dealt with the feathers of the actual swans well, because we have a lot of detail in those. And that's important. You could very easily have lost the detail, and you haven't. You've controlled that. So perhaps maybe warm the image up slightly with your temperature slider, and just maybe a little bit more contrast. We'll just give it a bit more punch. And then try playing around with maybe, it's difficult to say, you could either darken the exposure slightly, lift the shadows, play around with it, see if you can get that bit of glare off the image. But it's sharp, and I'm pleased to see that. So well done. Start with a 15.
Okay. Next we have food, more food.
They do love their food, don't they? So you've caught this magpie with, I can't quite tell what's in its mouth, but it could be a bit of bread or a seed, something like that. But it's picked it up, possibly just grabbed it and about to fly away. So again, not the easiest thing to photograph, because you've got white areas and you've got black areas on the bird. And this is the trick. Do you expose for the black or do you expose for the white? But you've done a good job here, because again, I can see detail in the feathers. Even looking closely at it, I can see the definition of the feathers on the body. And if you look at the back of the magpie, a lot of people think they're quite boring birds. They're actually quite multicoloured, and the author of this picture has caught the beautiful iridescent blue just above the tail there. And you've caught it well. Now, the only downside to this image, and it's a little bit of a shame, is that white blob. I can't point because you won't see where I'm pointing, but just behind the bird's head, there's like something in the back of the garden there, a white triangular shape. And I am finding that's catching my eye and taking me away from the bird. It was there. There's not much you can do. You can't run out and move it because you'd scare the bird off. Could you position yourself round to the right a bit more, though, so that you had more of the view to the left in the image and cut out that white area? I don't know. I wasn't there at the time. But just look out for things like that. So that's another 15.
And up next we have flying into the rainbow.
Yeah, so caught just at the right moment. This isn't a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, it's a seagull. And it's quite quaint, really, isn't it? I like the way it's flying away, heading towards the rainbow. And the image is not overall a colourful image, apart from that strip of colour for the rainbow itself. Now, the bird is quite central in the image, but in this case, it does work. And I really don't mind all the space around it either. I think that just it gives it a bit of another dimension. We don't need to go in closer on that. I'm glad to see your horizon is straight, and you've given us just enough of the sea, just to give us a hint of environment. And you're lucky you had those little fluffs of cloud in the top right, sort of those little puffs of cloud, just to add something to what would be an empty space. So that's a 16.
Okay. Next up we have waiting.
I lost you.
Okay, so yes, she's waiting, and just like nowadays, she's got a mask around her chin, as a lot of people seem to do. They cover their mouth and not their nose, but This lady's outside on her own anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But it just speaks how times are nowadays, doesn't it? Again, you've chosen to put a smack bang in the middle of the image and not on a third, but that works because you've got these posts either side of her, which sort of frame her into that part of the image. And I like the crop on this. I can see that you've got your horizontals and verticals correct, which is, again, very easy to have your buildings leaning. I think you've managed to handle that very well. And part of me says you could make an image just out of that centre part, just with the lady sitting there. But I actually like it as it is. I like the spacing around it. So that's 17.
Okay. Next we have Reggie and the train.
Okay, so we've got a bit of colour popping going on here, where you've made the image monochrome, but kept certain areas of the image in colour. And I really like the way Spider-Man is swinging out of his t-shirt there. You've kept the red, and that really pops out and catches your eye. And then you've got eye contact with this young child who's got a really cute smile on his face. He looks really happy there, doesn't he? And just behind, you've got the train, whether it's going towards us or going away, I can't quite tell. And then if you can see, if you look closely, there's a red light on the traffic light next to the train. So we've got those areas that really catch our eye, 2 red areas and the yellow. So the author's done well with this. You've created an interesting eye-catching scene. In fact, if you look closely, some of the graffiti still has a hint of colour in it, bit of red, bit of blue. So yeah, I'm just wondering, no, I'm not even going to say that. I would leave it as it is. So we'll hold that back, please.
Okay. Trinity Lane.
Well, this takes you back in time, doesn't it? This could be a really old postcard or something, and it's been left to fade. And look how empty those streets are, and the buildings themselves, the detail in there really, really works well. And we've got an odd number, 3 lampposts coming off the wall. Didn't things have character though? Not like nowadays. Nothing seems to have character, but things that were made years and years and years ago have character and attitude, a nice attitude. It's a shame there's double yellow lines on the left-hand side of the road and the right-hand side of the road. That just brings us back to modern times, doesn't it? I'd have probably been inclined to clone those out had this been mine, but that would take a little while. But I do like the monochrome effect on this. I like the way you have sent us back in time and created this effect. 17.
Adverset bath time.
I thought it was an adverset. I've never actually seen one for real. All the times I've been to nature reserves and everything, I haven't yet, or if I have, it's been miles away. And if you look at this particular adverset, so I've got a good old wash there, and just behind it, just above its back, there's a feather that's come loose. And it's just sort of being thrown through the air with the water droplets. And I think that's quite different, isn't it? Now, this particular adverset, again, exposure is not too bad. There are a couple of areas, one on the side and one on the wing, that have lost detail because they're overexposed. Very difficult bird to focus on being white, so to get your to get your white balance correct is not easy. However, I like the fact there's detail in the eye, and we can see the shape of the beak, and you've caught the action, you've frozen the water splashing around. Now, ideally, I would have preferred more space above the head and less space below, because I feel it's trapped, it's very close. Now, perhaps you crop that close because just above there's a lighter area or something distracting, but it just squeezes it in a little bit too much. But, as I say, beautifully seen. Just watch for the overexposed areas and your crop. 16.
Busy bee.
Yeah, it's certainly busy, isn't it? He's got his, I can never pronounce the tongue, but he's got his tongue well into that plant, sucking out the nectar there. And look at those beautiful glass wings. They look like stained glass windows, and the light just hits them and gives a little twinkle to them. And it's all furry, and each hair on his body is standing out, and on her body, I should say. And I know it sounds a bit weird, but I could imagine reaching out and stroking that, because that's how well I can see the texture in the bee. and the eyes are beautifully sharp. It does look incredibly large when you look at them up close, doesn't it? We'll hold that back, please.
Okay. Fish and chips by the sea.
Oh yeah, nice bit of fish and chips. Can't go wrong with that. I think the author has cleverly created 2 images out of one here. So we've got that gorgeous beach hut and the sea in the background. But then when you look through the window of the beach hut, we have another image, basically, and another story. We have the 2 people sitting in there, probably too cold and damp to sit on the beach. So they're enjoying their tea within the beach hut. And I do like the way you've used the window as a frame. And that does look mighty delicious from what I can see from here. You've done well on your exposure, because obviously it doesn't look like the best conditions to photograph in. Possibly you've just darkened down the sea a little bit there, but you want our focus to go on to the inside of the hut. And that's where my eyes are going to, especially the orangey colour of the chips. And I can actually see detail, not so much in the person on the right, but the person on the left. I can actually see detail, although it wouldn't be pin sharp, I can see detail in the face. So, yeah, I'm quite enjoying this image. 17.
Fallen off.
Oh, that would be my worst nightmare. I could never go on one of those. I literally would have a heart attack. I cannot stand heights. Yeah, it reminds me, my husband wanted me to go on the Emirates thing in London once, those things that go over the Thames. I just couldn't. Oh. Anyway, moaning aside, it's quite, there is a sign on that chair there, and it looks like it says it's out of order or out of use or something. It's got a picture of a person with a big line through it. You look really closely. So I'm assuming it's out of season, and they don't want people climbing all over it. I do not know how they even stay on those wires, to be honest. Now, I very much like the way we've got the mountains in the background with the snow on the top, the little bit of snow that's left, and it tells you a story. We can straight away say skiing, winter, cold, snow, everything's sharp, there's good detail throughout. Part of me is saying, oh, I wish the ski lift was on the left so it's got space to move towards the right, because it's facing to the right. But you know what, I don't think that matters. I think for some reason it is balancing, it is working. So we'll hold that one back, please.
Excellent. Okay. Deep in thought.
This young lady's got the most amazing hair. What incredible hair. Absolutely beautiful. And what really helps make it stand out is how you have positioned her and where you positioned her. So you've got neutral colours. You've got the sort of wood, the brown behind her. She's sitting on a crate. She's wearing dark clothing. And that really helps to pop that amazing hair out. And the way that you control the lighting on this, you keep us on her face and her hair. So well done for that. The expression, I like that neutral expression as well. She doesn't look happy, she doesn't look sad, she just looks, I suppose the expression is poker face, where you haven't got any expression at all. And I like that concentration and not quite looking directly at you. The only thing I find a bit of a shame is I wonder, with the crop behind her, if you either could have moved in slightly closer and lost a little bit more of her back, or gone slightly further out and kept her back and her bottom in. I just feel it. Have a look. Yeah, I probably, if this had been mine, would just have cropped in a tiny bit closer, maybe level with the back of the box, because I think it is, because that space is there. My mind's saying I want to see more, or it's saying I want to see less. Other than that, it's pin sharp. I'm very much enjoying that. 17.
Blaven erratic.
Yes, so the author here is leading us into the image and cleverly using the trees on either side as a frame. And you've got the branches stretching away from you, like fingers reaching away into the distance. You can't help but look through the image, and I am enjoying all the detail throughout. I find that rock right at the end of the sort of, where we're looking, sort of in the middle, I'm stopping at that and I'm not going any further. And that does hold me in. Let's have a look. Yes, it's very sharp throughout. So I do enjoy this scene. You have put quite a thick white line around the edge, so I wouldn't be very careful with that because it is distracting. I wouldn't go more than 3 pixels at the most, which is a very thin line. And if you can, use a colour from the image. So maybe pick a bit of the green from the grass or slight blue from the sky, and just have a very thin, very thin line around the edge. Yeah, 16.
Jim.
Now the lighting on this is very kind and very gentle. I really love the expression on Jim's face. He just looks so, how do I say this? He reminds me of my grandfather, and he's got a really kind sort of grandfather expression. You could just imagine him pottering around his shed and digging up his allotment. And if you're online tonight, it's a compliment. Please don't take it the wrong way. But I'm really enjoying that. And a little sparkle coming back at me from his eyes as well. They're crystal clear. I like the way the author has darkened the lower part of the image so that we're not distracted by the hands and we cannot help but falling on that face. He's sitting dead center in the image. He's smack bang in the middle. But for this image, it works very well. So we'll hold that back, please.
Okay. Dragonflies.
Dragonflies doing what dragonflies do. And in fact, if you look at the dragonfly at the top, and if you look between the front legs, there's a snail on the plant. Just between the legs, if you can see the shell of the snail. If you look really closely, you'll see that. So you've actually got 3 creatures in this image. So yes, they tend to do this. They land, they mate, and they form what looks slightly like a heart shape when they do this. And quite like the point of view you've chosen, you're shooting sort of down towards them, so you're showing them both clearly. They could be a tiny bit sharper. The wings aren't sharp and parts of the body aren't sharp. I'm just trying to find your focal point. Actually, the top left wing on the top bug is quite sharp. So I think your focus is somewhere around there. So just be careful. Try and get your focus on the body, on the eyes, if you can. And as well, you've got quite a bright background. So I would have darkened down maybe the bit at the bottom where you've got that bright area, the bright bit going across left to right, and maybe the bit coming in on the left. But that's just a small thing. Other than that, the rest of it, I think the crop works well. You know, you've got them in a lovely position. And why is the one at the bottom only got 1 wing on the right? Maybe it's folded it back, who knows. Okay, 15.
A classic salad.
Yeah, someone's put a lot of thought into this. That actually looks really delicious. Bit of white wine vinegar, that would go down a treat. You know what, that's sort of thing you see when you go into a restaurant and they have these pictures on the wall of food, and that would go down, that would actually work so well. And I'm enjoying the lighting on this, and as I said, it's making me think, how delicious does that look? I like the post processing treatment that you have applied to give this sort of warm glow to this, and the layout of the garlic and the onion with the bowl of salad and a couple of little tomatoes chopped up. I think that's working very well. So we'll hold that one back, please.
Okay. Reflection.
And what a beautiful reflection that is. And because you've had something making movement in the water, it's caused some ripples, which helps to break up. Otherwise, it would be like a sheer glass mirror. And because you've got the ripples in the water, it breaks that up. It just makes you remember, oh, this is water. This is a lake or something. And the lighting's nice on this. I do like the blueness of the sky, and the way you've controlled your colour balance. I think that works well. And just looking through the image, see if there's anything at all, any birds or anything. Where are all the ducks? You all know I'm obsessed with birds and ducks and people in red tops and goodness knows what else. I don't think we need them. I think they would ruin it. I think it looks very pretty as it is. 17.
I feel like a ballerina.
It's like my hair when I get up in the morning. That's really funny. Either it's fluffing herself up or the wind's caught it. Very much like a ballerina, isn't it? Wish my legs were like that. Yeah, so it's really a cute. I like this in the sense of I like the way the feathers are all ruffled and sticking up, and like you say, you're calling it ballerina. It has got that feel to it, and there's good detail in the feathers and the all the way down the neck, right down to the bird's eye and the beak. It's looking around for some little things to eat in the water there, and there's not a lot of colour in the image, and probably it's got pink legs, so that's the most colourful part of this, a bit of pink in the bottom as well. But that's fine, that's how it is at the time. And I'm just enjoying the crop on this and glad to see that it is sharp. So 17.
Easels in sunlight.
I do like the way the light's hitting the water droplets. Especially on the ones, if you look at the teasels nearer the bottom, it's like little sparkles, little Christmas lights coming on within the plants, and it's really quite pretty. And then on the top right-hand side, where we've got the plants, you've got this sort of rainbow colour coming through where the lens flare is caused by the sunlight. And it's one of those images, it's a bit of a Marmite image. Someone's going to come along and moan they don't like it, it's too bright. Someone else is going to say, I really like the effect that you've created. And I'm really quite enjoying the coloration of this, and the fact that you've chose to go in so close to it and capture that sort of sparkle of light as it comes through. And let's have a look. Yeah, 16.
Red poppy.
Oh, my screen hasn't changed. I'm still on the teasels. Oh, there we go. That's come up now. Red poppy, and there's a bug in the middle as well. Just towards the bottom right-hand corner, the green part of the plant, you've got a beetle. So very good detail in that little beetle and the bug, detail in the centre, and the little stamens and little stems that are coming up from the centre. They're all, most of them are pretty sharp and detailed. And then you've got the absolutely amazing, gorgeous colour of the reddy orange of this poppy as it bursts open and spreads around the image. I'm not quite sure. Is that frost on the left-hand side? Is that a bit of frost? Looks like it. Either that or someone's put icing sugar on it. And yeah, I think the beetle in the bottom right corner, if you can't see it, look close and you will. I think that helps to add another element to this. 16.
Finished yet?
Okay, so reenactment possibly at Didcot. Looks very much, the ceiling looks like Didcot. It may not be, but there are a few places that do this. Monochrome, I think that adds an element of the days gone by to this image. And I very much like the way the lighting and the steam machines, sorry, I should say the steam from the engines creates its atmosphere of a working engine shed. And you've got the gentleman on the side of the engine there who's just doing what he does, maintaining the engine. A few bits of accessories around. You've got a broom, you've got a bucket, etc. I'm assuming the chap on the right, his back to us, who's wearing the glasses and smoking a pipe, which wouldn't be allowed nowadays, is some sort of inspector. It's been beautifully exposed. There's good detail in the engine, etc. And even through to the ceiling behind, we can see detail. The only thing I'd have done, had this been mine, was toned down the very top left corner, just by the chimney, as a bit of a skylight or something. You've got a bright square area of light, and it just catches my eye. Tone that down, and this picture would have been a 20. But it's going to be a 17 tonight.
St. Paul's.
Yes, so someone's had fun with long exposures here, And you've probably got lorries and buses, cars going past at this point. So that's why you've got lots of different colours, lots of different exposures and variations in the lighting here. So however long you've done your exposure for, 10 seconds, 20 seconds, it was just long enough to capture the action. And because the vehicles are moving, you'll capture the lights, but you won't see the vehicles in the image. St Paul's itself, if you look just below at the bottom of the image, is a very bright white area, which is due to probably the lighting conditions at the time, which have been exaggerated because of your exposure, which is again a little bit of a shame because it does draw the eye. Again, you've got a square of bright white area there. It's so hard not being able to point, so you're going to have to just try and follow my directions on that one. But if I ignore that, the rest of the image, I think lovely blue glow to the sky, nice sparkle in the street lights as well. It's been captured well. 16.
The gathering storm.
Oh, that's got mood to it, hasn't it? Typical summer's day, just when you plan a barbecue, that is exactly what you'll see. Yes, you can even see the rain coming down in the distance on this one. So you've got a proper grumpy sky there, really angry looking sky. And it does make you think, run and get your umbrella or go and hide somewhere warm. And all those calm and relaxing looking boats out there on the water are about to get proper wrenching from the rain. I like the way the author has used the boat in the bottom right hand corner, the one that's on the land, just as a little bit of a starting point to keep you in the image, and then it points you out following through the little stream of water, and then you venture out and look at everything else in the water there. 17.
Reflections.
Oh, I do like a reflection. Depends what you see in it though. I quite like the fact we've got this headless man. I'm assuming it's a man. Possibly it could be a woman, depends, but looks very much like a man to me. And then we've got two what look like ladies just walking in the towards the right hand side. And it's fun in a sense because it makes you think, oh, I wonder what he looks like. No, he's headless. Actually, if you look further down the image, I can see a bit more of a reflection of him in the lower part. Anyhow, so beautifully seen. I'm very much enjoying the diagonals pulling me through the image. The bottom right-hand diagonal, the sort of solid area, the triangle shape, holds you in. You're then taken into the reflection and the different triangles and diagonals in the windows there. And it's all about diagonals and lines. So I'm going to hold that back.
Sunset on the chalk hill.
Okay, so really warm colours in this, gives you a sense of sunset in the summer or something like that, and it just is quite relaxing and serene. I like the way the light's hitting this and giving it a little bit of a rim light, especially the plant stem. If you look around there, you've got the light just showing up the little hairs on the stem of the plant. And it's quite interesting to see a small butterfly like this in quite a large space of image. I can see why you've done it, and I think it balances pretty well. It's not your fault because they're there, but you've got the plants in the background, which they're causing a little bit of bokeh, which is a little bit of sort of sparkly light in the background, but in some places, especially at the top of the image, it's just a tad too bright. So that's a little bit unfortunate. So you just want to work on, maybe remember that things on the edges of images will catch judges' attention and pull the eye away. So 17.
Was it raining?
Okay, now everyone's going to have nightmares tonight after seeing this. I bet this is absolutely tiny as well. The incredible detail in this, though. And it kept still long enough for you to get that much detail in it. And, wow, those eyes really catch you. If you look closely, you can see the reflection in them as well. Little balls of water on the head, little beads of water, and just hairs all over it. It's actually, and you're going to think I'm very strange saying this, there's something quite cute about it. It's really quite sweet. And you've got this powerful orange. It's probably standing on a plant or something, and it just because of the colour of the little bug as well, it really pops out of there. So we'll hold that back, please.
Jim, Jane, Simon.
Oh, it's Jim again. Oh, he still looks very happy. So yeah, a bit of a family portrait here possibly. And it's not as strong as the image we saw earlier, but it's very well put together, and I'm enjoying the lighting. Very slightly bright on Jim's face, but on the two people in the background, was it Jane and Simon, I think you said, the lighting is perfect on their faces. We've got a catch light in the eye, and the skin tones look correct, which is very, very important. I maybe just would have toned down Jim's face a tiny bit because he does look slightly brighter than the others. But other than that, sharp, that's what's important. 16.
The Railway Men.
Okay, so we're back at the railway. Whether or not it's the same location, I don't know. But lots of steam going on. The engine's in steam. We've got people, they've got the water pipe there. They're probably just refilling it or getting ready to. So all the action's going on here. And the chap on the ground, obviously helping the guy who's up on the actual edge of the engine. So all action. I'm glad to see there is detail just about in the front of the engine. It's not completely blocked out. And obviously I'll allow for the fact that this is coming over the internet, so you do lose a little bit of detail anyway. So an open door behind as well on the carriage, so it does, you know, obviously reenactment, but it all shouts days gone by. Now on the top left, or just below, there's, I think, is it a lady with a headscarf on or something? Just finding her catching my eye, and I wonder, starting to wonder what she's doing or what's going on. Perhaps she's a passenger reenactor or something. But I'm glad to see detail in the steam, but you could easily have lost that detail and had it too bright. 16.
Woody says more, please.
Now this is either a juvenile, because the juveniles have a red patch on their head, and I think, or it's a male. I think males have a red patch on the back of their head, and the juveniles have the red on top of their head. So coming to the feeder, you don't often see that. So he can't quite reach because he's landed on that ring on the edge of the bird feeder, and he's just trying to stretch over to get some seed. And we can see a little catch light in the eye, and reasonable detail in the body. It is possibly you've cropped in quite heavy on this, because it does look slightly off focus, and maybe you had a bigger image and you've had to zoom right in post-processing, which is a little bit of a shame because you do lose detail. Also, it's quite a lot in the image. Obviously, you've got the feeders, the plants, you've got a very bright background behind the bird. But scene itself, I think the position of the bird, it doesn't matter if it's in the centre, I don't mind that. And it's probably one of those things, you saw it, you had a few seconds, you grabbed the shot as you could. 16.
Pembroke foxgloves.
Foxgloves are really gorgeous, aren't they? And you can get all sorts of insects flying in and out of them where you can get photographs of them. Now this image, I'm finding, I didn't fall straight on the foxgloves. Actually, my eyes fell in the sea. It's got that really gorgeous blue. And I find that my eyes are focusing on that and not the foxgloves. Also the sea being a lot brighter. But that's okay. It's afterwards you come back and you start enjoying the beauty of these plants. And what I quite like about them is that some of them have got like a little wavy, dancey move to them. Some of them are perfectly straight. Some are leaning over. They're all doing something slightly different. So it's quite an enjoyable scene, and it gives you a sense of nature. 16.
Okay, and our last picture of this group. Defiance.
Now that's me shouting at my husband when he annoys me. Anyway, yes, so not a happy bird, and that's a really powerful looking beak. Good to see detail in the feathers, The white area, very well exposed. I think you've coped with that and you've dealt with that well. Non-distracting background. And whenever you're photographing nature, make sure the eyes are sharp. Now, although we can see detail in the eyes, they're not pin sharp. Your focus point is on the top of that beak where the nostrils are. That is very sharp, but then we've lost detail as you go back. It's only slight, it's minimal, it's not massive, but it's enough that I notice it. So just try and get your focus on the eyes next time. However, beautifully caught and a real moment, a real angry bird. 16.
Okay, right, that gets to the end of the images, and we have 7 held back. Would you like me to give you a run through of the held back images?
You can, or is there any way you can put them all on screen?
There isn't, I'm
Don't worry
afraid.
if you
No,
can't.
no, sorry.
Okay, don't worry. Do you want to do a run through then, and I'll...
Okay, yep, if you, here we go.
Okay, I'll mark them then.
Okay, okay.
Okay.
Do you want the titles again, Alison?
No, it's okay. I'll give you a mark. Now, the marks, you know, will reflect the image, sorry. So, right, we'll start with 17. 18.
That's Steve Page.
18.
That's Neil Adkins.
20.
Well done, John Early.
19.
That's Rick Stevens.
19.
That's Liz Happer.
20.
And well done, Sue Hart-Smith. Excellent. Okay, thank you very much, Alison. That concludes the beginners round. If we take a short break now and come back, I'll hand over to Di, and you can decide how long we're having, Di, along with Alison.
Okay, 10 minutes.
Back again. So for the open section, we have 56 images, and as per the first section, I'll give you a run through to get us started. So here we go.
Okay.
Okay, now is everyone seeing those strange green dots on the screen?
Yes.
I don't know what they are. Something to do with Zoom. They are not. They're not coming. They don't appear to be coming from my screen.
They have been,
And
they have been appearing, Mark. I don't know if you see an annotation toolbar at the top, whether you can just check that and clear it. Maybe something's
right. I can't get at the screen sharing thing at all.
right.
Is it possible for you to stop the screen sharing and I'll restart the screen sharing and see if that clears it?
I think you just have to end the screen share from your side because you're screen sharing, aren't you?
Yeah, I can't. The problem is I can't get my mouse or my cursor will not go across. It will appear on my second screen, but it won't go across to the second screen for some reason.
Will you be able to share again though?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'll be able to share again, but
Okay, here we
well,
go.
I say that.
Well,
Yes,
there we go. That's unshared. And
right. Okay, so that's got Okay, that's got rid of the green dots for something. Just to quickly answer Emma's question, yes, please, if the selection team could be selecting images that they like for future use, that would be great. Right, let me share the screen again. See if that fixes it. Yep, that looks like it's fixed it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Excellent. Right, apologies for that, everyone. At least that's fixed, and we can get started now with Finnick Glen.
Okay, enjoying the movement in the water here, in that orangey yellowy water, and the very much use of shutter speed to create that flow. Very green, isn't it? The area, all the sort of moss and ferns growing up the sides of those hillsides there. And as you look through the image, you're taken further back and you're given the sense of the environment. I do like the way the authors use the big rock in the foreground as a bit of foreground interest. So we'll start with 17.
The Chapel St Albans Cathedral.
Yep, some good detail in here, the beautiful architecture, and the author has shown us the detail within, and even in the shadowy areas we can see detail, which is very important. And you're very lucky there's no one in there, because whenever you want to get a lovely photograph like this, there's always someone in the way, and there's no one sitting in the pews. It's just all about this gorgeous room. That's another 17.
Designed for dancing.
I wonder if this is the same young lady that we had earlier with that amazing hair. And she does look very similar. Now, the lighting on this is absolutely spot on. And I like the way you've got her just mid-lace there, just doing her shoes up ready. And nothing distracting this. It's literally all about this young lady doing her, doing up the ribbons there. And again, that beautiful hair really standing out from the background. We'll hold that one back.
Okay. Sunrise over fields.
Well, beautiful starburst you've got on the sun there. So you've got the little spikes of light coming, just it comes above the ground, and you just caught the spikes of light. Very much enjoying the orange glow hitting the underside of the clouds there, and gives it a very warm feeling. And as you go through the image, you see obviously the bluer area, the colder it feels. So there's detail within the fields itself, and I like the way you've used a tree on the left and a little bit of foreground as well. 16.
Neon, neon.
Yeah, certainly an interesting image. Very much enjoying the reflection in those glasses. It's almost another image on its own, isn't it? The reflection. And this could be an advert for Ray-Bans or something, couldn't it? Ray-Ban sunglasses. So it's very well put together. And I like the exposure on the sign. I can't quite tell what it says. Is it League or something? Or I can't, obviously the angle one I can't quite tell, but I'm very much enjoying the way it's been put together. 17.
Mother love.
Oh, that's very, very sweet. Oh, look. They're not like the little kittens you get from your house cat, are they? But aren't they adorable? Oh, one of them's sort of mid, I suppose you could call it a meow. He's got his mouth open, but oh, very, very cute. And Mum looking very content there. I like the way the author has sort of treated this so that the background is darker, making the tigers themselves really stand out. So we'll hold that back.
Too tired to play.
Yeah, it's probably boiling hot wherever they are, and you just don't want to move. So yeah, I like the way Dad's got his mouth wide open there, not looking very impressed, just wants to relax while the little one's probably nagging him to play. So it's quite a cute scene, isn't it? And then it looks like Mum in the background just under Dad's leg there, just chilling out and relaxing, glad that she's not the one getting hassled. So yeah, it's a shame little one isn't looking a little bit more this way, but yes, what can you do? That's as it was at the time. 17.
Anglesey Abbey.
And we've got this armless statue there, so that's the centre point of the image. Like the angle that you're on, the way we're looking into the corner where the buildings join in the centre. Obviously, we've got the statue there as well. That's where your eye goes to. When I look at the statue, ideally, I'd like to see it looking a little bit sharper than it is, but again, that's all down to focus point. I think the monochrome effect adds something to this image. It gives it that, again, that old worldy feel. Looks like it's possibly the middle of winter here. There's no leaves on the tree. It's that chilly sort of wintry cold feel. So good square crop on it as well. 15.
Tumbling dice.
Okay, good. Yeah, another well put together image. I like the sense of movement in this with the dice tumbling out of the beaker there, and the sense of gambling because you've got the cards in the foreground, and then all these sort of dice. I'm not quite sure what type of dice they are, but you've got these dice just falling out there, of a couple of them on the ground as well. So however you've done it, I think you've put it together pretty well. 16.
Gate detail.
Can I just ask, can anyone else hear something beeping, or was it mine?
I can't.
Okay, I keep hearing something. Maybe it's my headphones. Oh, yeah, it might be my headphones going flat. Okay. Sorry, what was this one called?
Gate detail.
Gate detail. Yes, plenty of detail in this, and we do love an old post and things that look like they're sort of starting to fall apart. And I'm very much enjoying the shape created, especially in the gate on the left, where you can see the lines of the wood. I'm enjoying the detail within that. I like the fact you focused in on this part of the gate showing the handle. There is an area in the background with, again, a square of light, which I'm finding to catch in my eye. It's just looks like it's on top of a hut or something. And again, I'd been inclined to clone that out. So 16.
Northton.
It's quite pretty, isn't it? And the letterbox crop on this adds something to the image. I like the fact you've kept the tall part of the hill in the distance in the centre, and you've just got the clouds just brushing the top of that. You've used the grassy areas as a leading line in, which takes us through the image and out into the water. And then post-processing, you've given us this feel of serenity, I suppose is the term I'm looking for here. 17.
Passing snowstorm, Lofton.
Yeah, that red hut really sort of pops some colour into the image, doesn't it? And you got, obviously, we've got the blue of the sea, the bluey green, but then that red catches the eye and draws you in, and you have that building just in the right place in where you positioned it, and also the island out in the sea on the right there, just as well, just holds you in. There's good detail in the snow. Oh wait, it's not the deepest snow you see, it's just a layer of snow, but it's still got detail in it. Very easy to overexpose snow, and I think the author here has controlled that well. 17.
Happisburgh Lighthouse.
I like the way I'm drawing up the path that's just off centre and taking us right the way through, and then we stop at the lighthouse itself. We've got detail in the sky and different textures in the cloud, which works well. And the red of the lighthouse could be a little bit more vibrant, I think, maybe a tiny bit more contrast, and a little bit maybe brighter, slightly brighter, just would make this pop slightly. And then get someone to walk down the path just to add a little bit more foreground interest. But it's sharp and it's quite a beautiful building, isn't it? 16.
Bitter Memories.
Yeah, so they look like Lancaster bombers. I can't quite tell. They've got the T-tails, but front looks quite long. Maybe the B-17s, I don't know. Anyway, takes you back, doesn't it? Makes you think of the war years. This lady's reminiscing. We're seeing what's in her imagination. Sitting there enjoying a cup of tea. Monochrome effect gives this such impact, such mood. And the way that the author has focused the lighting on the lady so that we catch her straight away. And then we're led out the windows to these aircraft flying over, which to me I'm seeing in her imagination. Hold that back, please.
Mad Hair Day.
She's got beautiful hair, absolutely stunning. And what fantastic eyes. Very, very sharp. There's a catchlight in them. I like the way you've got to open her eyes extremely wide so we can see all of her pupil. It really does draw you in. Very striking. The lighting on her face, if maybe toned down very slightly, and just to the right-hand side of her head, which is on our right, sorry, the right-hand side of the image, it's very bright where it hits the floor. I'd have toned that down so that the focus went purely on her eyes and you weren't pulled away. However, pin sharp, absolutely pin sharp, which is very good to see. 16.
Hard Man.
He looks too nice. Oh, he's smiling. I really like the idea of this, and I think maybe get him to grimace a bit more, but he does look very, very nice. Great detail in the face. I do love those eyebrows. What fantastic eyebrows. And the way that you've got him, so he is separated from the background, even though he's wearing a dark coat and it's a dark background, he is separated. He's not blending in. So that's really well done. I can see that you've, on his ring, on his finger, that you have sort of toned that down slightly. So perhaps that was catching the light. But I do like the way we're drawn into his hand and you think, oh, don't want to upset this guy. Until you see him smiling and then you think, maybe he's nice after all. Shame you chopped the top of his head off. I perhaps would have liked to have seen that in. Maybe lose a bit at the bottom of the image and have more on the top. And not necessary, but a key line may have helped us pop this slightly more. 16.
The Bond.
Oh, that's proper love, isn't it? The way she's looking at that horse. What a beautiful, beautiful horse. And the lighting on this, again, it's very, very comfortable, very kind. I like the way it's hitting the grasses in the foreground and the lady. And the horse itself, detail in the face, and even the little hairs on the chin, we can see all of those. It's an interesting image because part of me thinks, why is she standing there in a beautiful dress holding a horse? One of those dreamy moments, isn't it? Again, this could be an advert for something. You expect the milk tray man to come swinging in and have a chat with her in a moment. I'm going to hold that back.
Castlerig Enlightened.
Yes, I like the odd number of stones in this image, the 3 stones, and the fact that you've got the sort of heavenly sunlight coming through and just hitting the hills in the background and lighting up the central area of the image. It's quite dreamy, really. And what also looks like there's been a horrible stormy sky, which is just starting to clear up. So there's good detail in these. I've not been there, so I don't know how large these rocks actually are, but I don't know whether they're very small or very big. We need someone standing next to it for that. But it is a tranquil scene. 17.
Fallow Buck in the Borage.
Really pops out, doesn't he? And you can imagine if he just ducks down a little bit, you'd have no idea he's there. And sometimes you go to places, even like Bushy Park, places like that, and they're in the ferns, and all of a sudden you walk past, one pops its head up. So very, very good detail in this. The eyes even have a little sparkle in them, and it's sharp throughout, which is important. The authors use differential focusing, which means the foreground, the very foreground is out of focus, the background is out of focus, but the important part, which is the beast itself, is pin sharp. So you're actually down level with this, and you've got the angle right. So we'll take another look at that. If you could hold it back, please.
Okay. Entrance to Winnett's Pass.
And there's a traffic jam. Wherever you go, there's traffic, isn't there? Oh, what a beautiful scene, though. Apart from the traffic, which kind of brings you back to the reality, you've got this gorgeous scene with the lines of the hills drawing you in. Even got some sheep in there to give you a sense of scale as well. And then we go back to the cars, and it's almost a comical side of this little queue of traffic there. I like the way the author has used the foreground rocks to start us off in the image, and then the road actually draws you through. And then very much I'm enjoying what's in the background. I'm just thinking, I'm just going to cover up the bottom of the image. Even cutting out the road and the sheep and everything, you've still got a really beautiful scene behind that as well. Yeah, 17.
Seal Pup.
Yeah, smiling back at you. So it's got a couple of little, looks like a little cuts, couple of little cuts on the face, and Ivor's been eating something, always caught his nose on something, and it's, again, as I say, looks like it's smiling back at you. You've got down low and shot along the beach at this, which is great. You're at the right level. You've cropped in very close, but you've kept both front flippers in, which is good. The eyes could be a tiny bit sharper than they are. Again, have you cropped in from a larger image? If you have, you will lose detail. And what looks like possibly a fly on his cheek there on the right, which is on our right. There's a little fly on there as well. 15.
Battling Finches.
Yeah, so we have a goldfinch on the left and possibly a chaffinch on the right. Right, yeah, I think that is. And the goldfinch not looking very impressed that the chaffinch is coming down there. You've really caught the action, haven't you? So you've used a good shutter speed to freeze the action. And we could quite imagine them screeching and shouting at each other in the next few frames after this. And background suitably diffused, not distracting. I'd tone down the post on the right a bit on the white area at the top. Being a bit more experienced, you could just get a bit more in your processing, just tone that down slightly, because again, bright areas catch the light. And maybe not have left the space in at the bottom. I would have maybe cropped in, lost the bottom and the right hand side, and just made it even more about birds. 16.
Retinette with fruit.
See, now that has character, doesn't it? These things do have character. So, excuse me for a moment. Yeah, it's Kodak, isn't it, that one? Made in Germany, it looks like it says. Yeah, this is interesting. I quite like the red background and the fruit on each corner. And then this camera, which is completely opposite colours to the rest of the photo, really stands out. It's really good and sharp. And it's almost like you're looking into the camera and that camera is looking back into you. So it's very interesting, very imaginative. 17.
Legs 11.
Yes. Do like legs. Sometimes it's nice to chop someone's head off. We don't need heads in it all the time, do we? So I quite like the structure of the architecture in this. And then everything's so sort of sharp and straight. And then you have these legs, which are all sort of ski-whiff and just in a very relaxed position. So it does add an element to the image, doesn't it? If you look in the distance above what looks like a doorway, it looks like the edge of another stairway going up there. It's like something out of one of these computer games you half expect behind one of the posts there to be something you've got to collect. So very interesting scene, because it's making me think, what does he look like? What is his head like? Do we need the left-hand side? Yes, we do. It doesn't balance if we lose it. One of those questions, do we, don't we? Hold that back, please.
Finding my way home.
Oh yes, Baker Street. And you've got it with hardly anyone there as well. Wow, that's always busy when I go there. Okay, yeah, I do like that. It's quite a famous shot. A lot of people do like to take this shot, and I like the way you've done this. You've kept the Baker Street signs in. You've got the three sort of archways, and you've even got a gentleman in the image as well who is looking at the map, hence the title. And some people might say, oh, he should be on the left or he should be on the right. But I think in this case, he's in a good place. I think he works well, excuse me, in the centre of the image. I think you could perhaps just make it punchier, just a tiny bit more contrast and a tiny bit more black on your slider. And I think you'll find it will just give it just the tiniest bit more depth. It will just give it a tiny bit more pop. And that's just a little tip. If you try it, I think you'll see what I mean. 16.
Male black-tailed skimmer, Ophtrum cancellatum.
You say that again? No, I'm joking. Well, that's interesting. I've not seen a black one of those before. And even its wings, even the veins on the wings there, even they are black. It really makes it stand out. Again, what I said earlier about wings looking like stained glass windows. And you do get that sort of effect from these bugs. And look at those legs, very detailed. You can see every little hair on there. And what helps this image is the fact that it's against a very neutral background. So it really helps the bug to stand out. So we'll see that one again, please.
Happy days.
Yeah, so excuse me, reenactment, and I'm not going to make myself look stupid and try and guess what the aircraft on the right is. Possibly a Mustang or something. You can tell me afterwards. But it is a vintage aircraft, and these people are in vintage uniforms. And for reenactments, I think you know, people need to be dressed correctly, and I really like the way these two are dressed. You know, it's very authentic. Even down to the cup he's holding that he's having his tea from. Now, in the background, you've got some smaller aircraft, modern aircraft, which is a little bit of a shame. I can see what looks like a Piper Archer just on the left there, and then a couple of what look like Cirruses. Now, that's a shame because it does bring you back to modern days. A shame you couldn't get rid of them or clone them out or something, but again, they were there. There's not much you can do. But these two themselves, they've got great character. Really good uniforms, and I like their position within the image. It's just a shame about the modern aircraft in the background. 15.
Barbican columns.
This is something very different. Plenty of detail in those columns, and I just want to walk through them. I don't know why. I want to walk through that gap and see what's beyond. So the author's done a really good job of getting your imagination working here. And great detail in the floor as well, and the lighting again being very gentle, just works well. Hold it back.
Ready to roll.
Yeah, again, this really pops out at you, and you've got that absolutely amazing thundery sky behind with detail in it. And I like the fact this guy, everything looks very clean, so I'm assuming he's just about to go out and do his thing. And however you've lit this, it really helps to make him pop. We've got great shadow on the floor as well. It's another one to hold back, please. I will do a cull a bit later.
Bored of lockdown.
Aren't we all? At least cats can sleep all day. We still have to work. Oh, wow. Those eyes are amazing, aren't they? Absolutely fabulous eyes. And really relaxed and chilled out, as cats do, because they can just be lazy and then we slave over them and do everything they wish. And I do like the way, again, talking about light, because that's what photography is about. The light's hitting this cat, and we've got a twinkle in the eyes. You've got the green and red of the plant on the left, and the cat itself is framed within the arm and the legs of this bench that it is laying on. 17.
Looking forward to a relaxing holiday.
You wouldn't want to stay there though, would you? That's a bit derelict. Great title for it though. Yeah, okay, so yeah, you found this, we love it, don't we? As I said earlier, things that rotting, falling apart, bits of paint coming off. It's brilliant, absolutely love photographing it. And this building, as you quite rightly said in your title, you wouldn't want to stay on holiday there. Now, I do find that the colours are slightly oversaturated, and especially in the sky, very punchy blue. It's a little bit too much. I wouldn't have gone up too much on your saturation slider. However, I think you've captured the detail in the building well, and the point of view has been handled. Excuse me, shooting from the corner of the building really adds, you know, pulls your eye through and adds something to the image. 15.
CK.
That's an interesting colour suit, isn't it? It's really quite punchy, and it helps to stand this person out from the background. I like the neutral expression with a bright red lipstick which catches your eyes, and certainly gets you thinking, certainly something different. Skin tone looks good to me, so you've got, the lighting has been handled very, very well, and we'll give that a 17.
Mid-pack.
Yep, lots going on here, lots of people racing, and you've got this person in blue and green that's surrounded by people in red, so it really helps to make them stand out, especially as their bike's blue as well, with the yellow bottle, really helps them stand out from the pack. I'm glad I can see movement in the wheels, and if you look at the feet on the pedals, they look slightly blurred, so you've captured them moving, used the shutter speed well, but the face itself is sharp. You've got quite a bright sky behind, but unfortunately, you know, that's how it was on the day. And it's not overly distracting. It's all about the action that's going on here. 16.
Remembrance.
Yeah, poppies are beautiful, aren't they? Is this a knitted one? It looks like it possibly can be. Yeah, I'm quite enjoying the way some of them, you know, the light's hitting some of them, which makes them appear brighter. And then you have the one sort of, where the light's not hitting them, they're slightly darker. So it gives you that sort of 3D effect. And the little spray of plant just coming out the top in the back as well, I think adds something to this. And you've kept, looking at the doorway on the left, you've kept that upright, verticals are correct. And not too badly exposed. So 15.
Monty showing off.
Well, someone has been incredibly brave with this image, and you've put a very, very colourful image into monochrome. Now, with nature, that is an incredibly brave move. But do you know what? Well done. I'm going to hold this back.
Extinction Rebellion.
And they've got a red mask on as well. Excellent. At least they're wearing the masks, not like the protesters lately. She's got incredible eyes. Very green. Wow. So yes, we can't deny there's not someone in red in this image. And the background she's against, which complements her eyes, really helps to make her stand out. And that eye contact is amazing. Very good detail in the face. A little bit of a bright area on the top of her nose. And again, once you see that, it catches your eye. But that's just a small thing. 16.
The Angel of the North.
Yes, now you can appreciate the size of this when you look to the bottom left-hand corner of the image and you see the person there taking the photograph. And you suddenly realise how big this actually is. And I very much like the monochrome effect on this. And the way the author, I can't help but looking at the statue itself, because the author has controlled their processing and it's keeping my eye where it should be. And we have, again, you've got an interesting sky. It's not bland, it's not plain, it has detail in it and definition. 17.
The machine stops.
Oh. Good eye contact here, and again, possibly a reenactment of sorts. He's got lovely dirty hands. If you look at his nails and his hands, and full of oil and dirt, where he's been looking after these machines. And I like the pipe in the mouth. It doesn't look like there's any tobacco in it, but it still gives something to it. The lighting coming in from the side and hitting his face is, again, it works well. A little bit bright on his pocket watch that's hanging on his waist jacket there. You can just see there's quite a bright circle of light hitting that. Again, just a small thing. I like the background being diffused. We can still see it, but it's not distracting. And you've shown us elements of the machine, the cogs, the workings. 16.
The Emperor rests.
Yeah, beautiful, aren't they? They're really, and when you get close to them, you think, blimey, they half look like aliens. And this one in particular, you're very lucky, because whenever I get close to these, they fly off before I can photograph them. See you coming a mile off, but it's nice and relaxed, this one. I like the fact you got the entire body in, and it's sharp where it needs to be. I'm assuming possibly you've cropped in from a larger image again on this, just because there's a little bit of noise, but it's very slight. And it's such a shame about that extremely bright blade of grass just to the right. You can see it coming up from the bottom there. Sorry, not on the right, just underneath the actual bug itself, because again, that catches the eye. But the bug, I like the coloration in the tummy and the thorax. I can see the little hairs on it. And yeah, it's not flown away, so you're very lucky. 16.
Lava lizard sunbathing on a land iguana.
Of all the places you could sunbathe. That's really, really, really random, isn't it? And the other one doesn't look bothered at all. You know, it's just sitting on my head and I'm not bothered. Wow. There's really good detail in both of them. Absolutely pin sharp. Even in the darker areas, I can see definition. And again, that thing of you could imagine what it would be like to reach out and touch. You can imagine the roughness of the skin. And the background is not distracting at all. And again, very kind lighting on this. It's not too bright. Very interesting in the sense of why you would allow someone to sit on your head. So we will hold this back, please.
Grey seals.
Yeah, they're lovely, the grey seals. And you can start to see them now. They're coming in and start probably from next month, which isn't that long, they're going to start breeding. So if you're lucky and you go up so right time of year, you may see the pups being born. So you've got a bit of ocean in the background, which adds an element to this image. A sense of environment makes us realise where they are. And the seal on the right is sharp, and again looks like he's smiling back at you. The one on the left, unfortunately, isn't as sharp. Excuse me, it's off the focal plane. Your focus is on the one on the right. So you have lost a little bit of detail on the one on the left. Now, because the one on the left is the biggest one in the image, I kind of wish that one was the sharp one, but unfortunately it is what it is. Have you cropped in again from a larger image? But if you've got more images, try and see if you've got one where they're both in focus, or if you've got the larger beast in the image, try and make that the main focal point. 15.
Time to rest.
Yeah, silhouette of a bug, of a butterfly here, and it's interesting to see one in silhouette like that. I like the way that you've used the sun against the plant stem. It almost looks like the plant stem is holding the sun there. It's reaching around it. It's framing it, and it's not, I like the sort of glow around the sides of that as well, the back light. So I'll tell you what, I'm going to hold that back. I'll mark it later.
The family.
Yep, you've got an odd number in there, 3. And like the size difference between the people, you've got the youngster and then what's probably mum and dad there. And you've got them on the 3rd and all different sort of shapes in the waves and things. And you've just left us enough of what above the horizon just to give us a hint of sky. And it's a very sweet image in the sense of if it was families gone out to enjoy themselves for the day, all wrapped up in their coats, probably freezing cold, but they've gone anyway, and a very empty beach other than that. But I'm enjoying the fact that there's detail from front to back here, and you can see all the shape of the water and the ripples, etc. 17.
Greenwich Flats.
Let's hope they're not built sideways like that, because everything would slide off the balconies. But it's all about patterns, isn't it? And I'm enjoying the patterns in this image. And it doesn't matter if it's flats or whatever it is. It's a beautiful architecture. I'm enjoying the exposure on this and the diagonals that you have created by slightly tilting the image. The colour balance looks good too. It's one of those ones I'm saying, oh, do we need someone on the balcony? Well, no, because if there was someone on the balcony, it would look a bit odd if it was tilted sideways. So I think I'm very much enjoying those patterns. So 17.
Red Admiral, Vanessa Atalanta.
Oh yes, looks like that Red Admiral's seen better days. Half his wings missing at the back, on the bottom, and it looks a bit like he's losing his colour. Gorgeous, gorgeous bug though, isn't it? When they are in full colour, they're absolutely stunning. And I'm very much enjoying the environment you provided as well. You're showing us, is that a bug leaf it's on possibly? I'm not an expert on plants. Both of the antennae look sharp to me, and the whole sort of tail to front is sharp. 17.
European brown hare, Lepus eurapius.
Yeah, so the author of this image has got down low and level with the hare. Now they've had to think about what they're doing, because if they know you're coming, if they smell you, if they hear you, they are gone, and they're gone in a blink of an eye. So you've probably taken your time to get this image, and you've positioned yourself, and it does look like the hare is aware you're there, or it's not sure, but you've really sort of caught it, ears up, eyes looking at you, sitting down, looking reasonably relaxed but ready to bolt. I like the differential focus, the fact the hair itself is sharp but the foreground and background is out of focus. The only small thing with this is it's such a shame you got that white area on the top right, because if that wasn't there it would make it absolutely perfect. But I'm going to hold that back.
Southern hawker dragonfly.
So dragonflies tonight. And they're still around. I've still seen them around, unbelievably, but usually they'll finish by now. Yeah, the colour in this is great, isn't it? I like the lime green of this one. And again, author's got it settled down on a branch or something here. The eye's sharp, which is important. We've lost the wings. The focus has gone at that point, so we can't quite see them. But it doesn't always matter. It doesn't always matter. It's for me, it's about that gorgeous little face and the bug itself in this particular image. And the mottled green of the background is not distracting me from the green of the bug. I'd lost a bit of the foreground, however. I don't think we need so much of that whitish, brownish area. I think that's distracting. Maybe gone in a bit closer, lost a couple of inches and just got a bit closer to the bug without chopping its wings off. 16.
Panoramic bar.
Good point of view, and I like the sort of fisheye effect we get with this one. And it's like, again, you've got more than one sort of image in this. You've got the inside of the building, which has amazing detail. I'm assuming this is pre-COVID, because people are sitting quite close together. And then you look outside the building, and you've done well with exposing for outside as well as inside. And you've got the River Thames, and I'm assuming that's the Thames, and all the buildings outside, which are, again, very, very detailed. There's detail everywhere in this image. So you've used a very good aperture you've got this, you've thought about what you're doing, you've got the exposure, the aperture, and everything literally spot on. And you're very brave going up so high. I would probably faint if someone stood me up there and told me to look over the edge. Hold it back, please.
Deers at dusk.
Yep, the young ones having a little, oh no, sorry, they're fallow, aren't they? Yeah, having a little tussle there, probably getting ready to rut. So they're just having a bit of an argument over who gets all the girls. Some interesting lighting from the sun there, which I like, that orange glow. So that always adds an element of warmth as well. So yes, you've caught them doing something that they do around this time of year. I'd have maybe if you could just get a little brush and just brighten up the face on the darker one on the right slightly, just because it's starting to disappear slightly. I can see the eye, but I have to look very closely. Again, that's just a small thing. They're sharp, which is important, and the action has been caught. 16.
Migrant hawker.
Ah, okay, this one's not relaxing. This one is in flight. And I can tell you from experience, getting one in flight is a nightmare, an absolute nightmare. It's impossible. Well, you have to take a few shots before you get it right. You've done a reasonably good job on this. It's not 100% pin sharp, but you still caught it in flight. You've still got movement in the wings. And, you know, there's still just enough detail that we can see the face, etc. And it's really quite, I don't know if, again, have you cropped in heavy on this? I'm not sure. So 15.
Wings down for landing.
Okay, another dragonfly. So, yeah, this one's landed. An interesting colour in this one. And I'm not sure if that's my screen. I'm just going to look at it on my other screen because I've got the images here. Bear with me a second. I need to check something before I comment. Oh, yes, no, it is. Okay, yeah, so again, good detail in this. I'm glad to see you've kept the entire beast in. You've got the wings in a slightly different position to usual, which are lower down rather than up. It does look, I can't point, there's a little bit of sort of, on the eye, we've got a bit of patchiness. I don't know whether this has been caused post-processing. It's very difficult when I can't point it out to you. But if you look closely, there are just certain areas of, I suppose, pixelation would be the term. But yes, I'm very much enjoying the way it stands out from the background, and that will be a 16.
Let me out.
Yes, certainly different. I mean, I'm enjoying the way this is framed within that those two plants, and it is very comical. It's interesting, and you wonder why someone would blow that up and then leave it in a shed. Possibly they've got a swimming pool and they just take it out when they want to float around. And yeah, good detail on it, well framed. 16.
Speak no evil.
Ah, I thought this must have a title like that. Yeah, this made me think of that straight away. Again, really good detail in this. The way the lighting hits just the face and the hand and draws your eye to that point works very, very well. Crop is good, and the animal is standing out from a very similar coloured background, but it does stand out. And in fact, when I'm looking at the image, the high-res image that I've got on my screen, which I can see, not the projected one across Zoom, it's got even more detail in it than you can see on the Zoom image. So I'll hold that back, please.
The light at the end of a tunnel.
Yeah, I like the egg shape of the end of this tunnel and the way my eye is led through the image, and you've got the lights on the ceiling, which don't look illuminated, but they do still sort of lead you out. You follow the line of them out of the tunnel, and then you're led up the path. I like the way the light sort of creeps in from the end, and then it slowly gets darker and darker as you come in. One of those images, I wonder if it would benefit from someone walking out the end of the tunnel or not. 16.
Holiday Inn.
Yeah, someone's made a Holiday Inn look quite pleasant. And I'm very much enjoying this architectural shot and the detail that you have kept within this. And you've got people in the shot as well, just near the front door, which helps give you a sense of size. And you've been brave, you've done a little bit of colour popping and just popped out the logo of the Holiday Inn on the side of the building there. 17.
And last but not least, Faxted Mill.
Yeah, again, another beautifully lit image, and it's very serene and relaxing. I like the little bit tree creeping in on the left-hand side, which just adds another element. The way the light's hitting the sails on the windmill is absolutely beautiful, really brings out the detail and helps add an element of warmth. And the door being open on the bottom of the windmill there just makes me think I want to walk in and see what's going on inside. 17.
Okay. Okay, that was the last image of those. We've got 15 held back. Would you like
Okay.
a run through?
Oh, yes, please.
Yeah. Okay. And off we go. Okay, shall we just run through them one at a time for you?
Yep, I'll mark them as we go through. Okay, 18.
That's Diane LeCount.
19.
That's Claire Norman.
20.
That's Tony Perryman.
Oh, boo. I'll take that back. Don't tell him I said that. Oh, no, he's online, isn't he? Oh, dear. I'll be getting messages later. Oh, is he teasing Tony? 18.
That's Colin Brister.
19.
That's Trevor Partridge.
18.
That's Helen Hooker.
18.
That's Bill Edwards.
19.
Mark Seaton.
18.
It's Colin Brister.
20.
That is Andrea Edwards.
Very brave doing that in monochrome, but it works. 19.
Sophia Spurgeon.
18.
Matthew Bickham.
19.
Diane LeCount.
19.
Sally Freeman.
20.
And that's Claire Norman. Excellent. Thank you very much, Alison. I will hand back to Di to continue with the evening.
Oh, thank you so much. What an amazing set of photos, of images. Absolutely superb. Well done, everyone. I'm not going to say any more, Alison, because I'm going to hand over to Stephanie while Mark sorts out all the scores on the doors to do the vote of thanks. But thank you so much. I really enjoyed your thorough feedback. But as I say, I'm not going to say any more because I'll leave it all to Steph. So Stephanie, if you're there. Stephanie.
Yeah, I have unmuted now.
Well done.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Thank you, Alison, for all your lovely critique, and it was really useful. The comments You always give plenty of detail in your feedback to all the authors, and praise of small details, such as the feathers, the textures, and even the water droplets from the beginners section. I'm sure they were all very constructive. And in the open section, I think you gave a really fair selection of comments, but we also gave you a fair selection of birds, fluffy things, and even a lady in red, but not some people in red in some of the scenes. But thank you again for all the comments, and you even mentioned the impact of lighting in several of the images, especially the monochrome ones, showing the storytelling element, which is very helpful and very useful. Once again, thank you for a lovely set of comments and critique. Thank you, Alison.
You're welcome. Thank you for asking me.
I just wonder, I know it's going to make a lot of noise, but can we all unmute and just give our appreciation to Alison, because I agree, absolutely brilliant. Thank you. So if we all unmute and do a...
Thank you, Alison.
Thank you, Alison.
Thank you.
Super, Alison.
Very good.
Could you do me a favour, Matthew, and unshare me?
Yes.
I don't know why my computer won't allow me to unshare myself, but there we go.
I can do that. Hold on one sec. Might have to share as a reply. Hold on.
Did anyone notice my deliberate error on the screen there that's currently showing? Definitely wasn't. Yeah, it definitely wasn't a multi-battle.
Yeah.
No.
I noticed that earlier.
You can't have everything. We got through the whole evening. I didn't crash the computer. The computer didn't try and update itself. It was amazing. Right. Okay. Let me just minimize that. I would like to give you the. Beginners first, if my computer will let me. Here we go. Right, okay, well done everyone. That was some absolutely fabulous images there. We'll start with the beginners competition. I'll give you what are the top four, although that's about 6 or 7 people. So on 34 points, we had Carol Green in 4th place. In equal 3rd with 35 points, we had Neil Adkins and Steve Page. On equal 2nd with 36 points, we had Liz Happer, John Earley and Rick Stevens. But leading the way, early doors, round 1, well done with 37 points to Sue Holt-Smith.
Well done, Sue.
Well done, Sue. Well done, everyone.
Okay.
Well done all.
Moving on to the open section. I'll just give the top 2 here, which is going to be about seven people, because it's extremely tight at the top. Okay. Freeze. Yeah. Right. So in 2nd equal place with 36 points, we have Sally Freeman, Sophia Spurgeon, Colin Brister, myself, and we're all on 36 points. Out in front, but only by 1 point with 37 points, we have Andrea Edwards, Diane LeCount and Tony Perryman. So everything to play for. Well done, everyone.
Well done.
Mark, can I just ask, how did Claire do? Claire Norman? She was mentioned.
39.
That's a very good question. Why haven't you... For some reason, I do apologise, Claire. Yes, you're quite right. You did get 39, and I gave Speak No Evil 0. That was a bit harsh. I do apologise, Claire. So Claire's out in front. Well done, Claire. 39.
Brilliant. Absolutely fantastic. Well done, everyone. And as I say, next week is a hand-in for the for round 2. So all to play for. Here we go, just a reminder of what's coming up.
Oops. I'll stop sharing.